Hello, and welcome to Trey the Reboot behind the scenes. My name is Starslight Berald.
And I'm Ricky.
Today we wanted to walk you through some of our process and tell you why it is absolutely crucial for us to study the material, study the language of cinema, and get all the details right so that we can create the greatest piece of Trey-related media ever put on the planet of Earth. No one has ever done anything like this.
Never. It's really great, you guys. I really liked being in it. That is like super, yeah.
When you're adapting something like Trey the Sequel, you have to have an attention to detail. You have to have the eyes of a creator, of a creative, one might add. And that means you have to have all the things. You have to have replica costumes, exact replicas. We had these exact replicas that were sewn by hand, stitch by stitch, thread by thread. Not only that, but we got the exact locations. We were on set on the locations. Although actually, it's impossible to tell, but actually we shot the entire thing on a green screen, similar to the one you can see here, if not the same. And what we did actually was we took the original footage from Trey the Sequel and we just digitally removed Trey in order to create backgrounds that were almost exactly, completely real. And that is magical. I mean, when I first heard of this kind of technology, I thought, I'm no longer a director. I'm a magician. I'm a sorcerer. Do you hear what I'm saying? I'm a sorcerer. Why aren't you reacting to me?
Yeah, you're a sorcerer.
I am the greatest sorcerer that has ever lived.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, but like, I played Trey better than Trey does himself, right? Yes, the answer is yes.
Oh.
Okay, so like, it's super crazy, but like, Trey Teatro is actually like his canon. That's his canon last name. The Teatro part is his last name.
Yes.
Not the Trey part. Anyways, basically in Names and Names, it was like, you know, he was like, "What's up, dude? I'm Teatro, dude," and so like that totally like explained that they're the same dude.
Yes, actually, we've done something so very clever in our new reboot. It's almost a reimagining of film. And what we've done is we've taken the original Trey films and we've placed them in a sort of metaphorical box and we sort of shipped them off into our new reboot. And so this means that the new films actually take place around the old films. So the old films actually took place in the past of the new films, and so the original Trey is actually Dr. Teatro from the first films, in which he is not Dr. Teatro, and so Trey Teatro. I invented this idea, by the way. It was all me. I invented it. I just thought people should know that. So, I think now is a good time to break down some of the many choices that we were absolutely forced to make when adapting a film like Trey the Sequel, or a piece of cinema like this. So, one of the most revolutionary decisions that we've ever perhaps made, is the decision to make Hecate an alien. I mean, did we know this? Did we know this was a revolutionary idea? I mean, I don't know. I was inspired by looking at the world and just looking all around us in cafes, parks, beaches, what do you see? Well, you see aliens. You see them all around us. So that's where the inspiration for, every film lies, necessarily. The aliens on the beaches. So that's why we made Hellgate an alien.
Plus it's sense of like the space reboot set in space reboot, right?
No.
No?
Nope. That's not happening.
Seriously? Oh my god. I've been lied to, you guys.
We actually have all of our actors on set here, like Ricky, for instance, use a very particular method of acting. It's known as handlebar method. Ricky, why don't you...
What? What? Handlebar method? What is that?
Handlebar method is a method that all of our actors use every day in every scene. And so what it is you'll imagine that you're grabbing onto the bars of a handle and you're racing along a very steep hill. And as you go up, that is as the tension in the scene builds. And so you just imagine that you're gripping on with the handle and all of your lines are driven by this handle and by the clacking of the handle gears and by the whirring of the handle clock. And that is the essence of handlebar method. It's a body-driven method, and it's driven by the speech and by the hands, and it's led with force and gusto. And if you don't know what handlebar method is, then you're not an actor. You're a failure. You're a disgrace. You're horrible. You don't know what handlebar method is? You've never heard of handlebar method?
I know, right? What's wrong with you?
You've never heard of handlebar method. You've never even heard of it. I can't believe you've never heard of handlebar method. I can't believe you've never heard of handlebar method. I can't believe you've never heard of handlebar method. You've never heard of handlebar method. You've never heard of... The most important thing to understand about Trey is that his past is really what drives him. It's the fuel that he needs to get on with his day. And so, in a way, I actually like to compare him to a character from the Odyssey, Homer. Both are kings in exile who take up a metaphorical blade to slay their opponents. But what distinguishes Trey from, I think, Homer and most other characters in literature is that Trey sort of has this realization, a key realization, I say, where he decides that he has to sail the seas alone. And that's, I think, really what defines him. That's sort of what makes him the archetypal hero in...
Okay, but like why is it here?
What? I thought I just... Thank you. Thank you for coming with us today on a journey of the soul. We've all learned something, and I hope you will learn something too. Until next time, my name is Starslight Berald.
And I'm Ricky Hen.
Personally, when I go through the process, I'm inspired by what is around me. And when I look around me, the hound is here. He's laughing at us. Oh, Outwit the hound, outwit the hound. Will we stop or will the hound stop first? I'm a bit of a beach goer, if you will, a dude at the beach, and I like to look around at all the people, all the, you could say, aliens on the beach. And I like to just see what they're doing. I like to just, observe them. And that's really what any good director is doing, is they're always observing people. Because if you can observe, then you can reserve. And then you can preserve. And that is what you deserve. No? I don't know if that one makes any sense. I go to the park. You never even heard of it. You've never heard of handlebar method. You haven't heard of the handlebar method. You haven't heard of the handlebar method. You didn't hear this. You didn't hear about the handlebar method. I can't believe you didn't hear about the handlebar method.
Oh my god!